out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Touch them all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Pack the bags. Start the plane. This game is over.
Hey y'all, so back with another video. This one's going to be a little bit of a reaction. My reaction to Josh Gordon being reinstated in the NFL. So it looks like the NFL has reinstated Josh Gordon for the last 2 weeks of the season, obviously with the Seattle Seahawks. And this is big news for that offense because with a guy already like DK Metcalf, this could be huge. So we're going to look a little bit at the history of Josh Gordon because he's been in the league a long time, right? In and out of the league a long time. You know, he came into the league in 2012 where he played all 16 games. Okay, this is the only year he ever played all 16 games. His rookie season, he had about 50 catches, 800 yards, and 5 touchdowns. A really solid rookie year. But then we look at his next year. Over the offseason, he gets suspended for 2 games because of a drug abuse problem, right? Then he plays the next 14 games for the Cleveland Browns, putting up crazy numbers: 87 catches, 9 touchdowns, 1,646 yards for the Browns in 2013. Crazy year. Becomes an all-pro in his second year. Everybody in the league is super hyped up about Josh Gordon. Like, what could he be, right? But ever since that year, he's been trying to get back on track. He has not had a year like that in a long time. In interviews, he's talked about where he hasn't played a game in the first couple years of his career in the NFL where he wasn't intoxicated of some sort. Dude really likes whiskey and the dude really likes weed. I mean, that's how it is for him. So when you look onto the next couple years, 2014 only plays 5 games because of DUI and marijuana, right? DUI that he got in the marijuana for the substance abuse that he keeps getting, obviously, because the dude just never stops smoking weed. I mean, the words of Stephen A, he needs to get off the weed, but the thing is they've told him to get off the weed about 6-7 times, you know, and he's just not doing it. 2015, substance abuse all out the whole year. 2016, decides to go to rehab. Then he goes again, twice, goes a second time, and then has a warrant for failure to comply with the paternity test. So he's out all of 2016, okay? Gordon ended up playing 5 games in 2017 with 18 catches, 335 yards, and a touchdown. Pretty good numbers. And then Gordon was then traded to the Patriots from the Browns because the Browns could not keep holding this dude after he cannot play. You know, after 2013, he looked like he was going to be a stud for the Browns. You know, look at these guys that could have been great for this Browns team, you know, out because of drug abuse, which is really sad. But, you know, he's traded to the Patriots, 40 catches, 720 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And then he gets suspended in December. This is 2018. Patriots go on to win the Super Bowl. Josh Gordon actually still gets his ring, which is cool, you know, but wasn't there for the playoffs, which is huge. Then, catch up to speed, 2019, Gordon's claimed off waivers by the Seattle Seahawks, then suspended again about a year ago in December. Seahawks obviously drop him. And then in September of this year, Seahawks sign him again. Okay, this is because they've said in the past Russell really wants to throw to Josh Gordon. Russell really wants to play with Josh Gordon. Seattle signs him in September because they believe he's going to win his reinstatement with the NFL. He does, obviously, as we've seen in the last week. That's why he's here. They signed him to a 1-year deal, and he's going to be able to play the last 2 weeks. And that means he's going to be able to play the playoffs if he can stay, A, healthy, and B, off drugs. Because you know they got to be testing Josh Gordon every day. There is no way they're not. I mean, this dude probably gets tested more than anyone else in the whole league ever. Okay? Jesus. But what this really means, okay? What does this mean for the Seahawks? What does it mean for the NFC? What does it mean for the big picture? Okay? So the Seahawks offense has the wide receiver that we talked about earlier, DK Metcalf, with the most receiving yards in the whole league. They already got DK. They've got a Tyler Lockett who's silently accruing 780 yards or something like that, almost 800 yards now this season. They've got their Chris Carson back. Chris Carson averaging 4.9 yards per carry. And they have Russell Wilson. Okay? This team has the 5th most passing yards. They score the 4th most points in the league. And they have the 2nd most passing touchdowns. Their offense is incredible. Okay? Their offense is ranked around 3rd, 4th best offense in the league. okay? The problem is obviously not on offense. Josh Gordon is going to help them tremendously on offense if he can stay healthy, if he plays, right? Because imagine your nickel corner is most likely trying to cover Josh Gordon, right? The thing is that's just not going to go well. They have to cover DK, Tyler Lockett, and Josh Gordon. Okay, that's a trio. That is an insane wide receiver group. Russell has all the weapons, right? He just needs to not turn the ball over. We've seen whenever Russell can play games without turning the ball over, the Seahawks usually win. Okay, and this is huge because Josh Gordon's going to be back for the Rams and the 49ers, right? These are two tough teams that they're going to have to play. The Niners having a really good defense and the Rams having a really good defense. These are two teams that are going to be really, really tough to play late in the season and maybe for the divisional with the Rams. So this could be, huge, right? Definitely the two biggest games left on their schedule. And this is really interesting to talk about Seattle because they are really, really good at offense, but they're really, really bad in most categories on defense. There's one thing they're really good at, though, is they're really good at stopping the run. Seattle actually has the third best rushing defense in the league, okay? They don't let people run the ball on them at all, but they're also 32nd in sacks, 32nd in passing yards, allowed and passes completed, okay? Overall, they're around the 26th worst defense in the league. And with having the third best offense, but the 26th worst defense, it's honestly extremely surprising that they're 8-3. I mean, it shows you how much in this league that offense matters. And offense seems to matter more than defense nowadays. Because if you can score, it does not matter. And it's going to be really interesting to see what Josh Gordon brings to the team. If that can put them to that Kansas City Chiefs level of offense, it'll be very interesting because I could definitely see that jump, especially with Chris Carson back. That's huge. Now they have their running back and they have another wide receiver. It could be a very interesting team to watch in the playoffs. But that defense is definitely going to need to be better. Obviously, they have Jamal Adams back there. They traded for Quandre Diggs last year. They have Carlos Dunlap. But this team is so bad at defending the pass. It's so different from that Legion of Boom team a couple of years ago. All they can do is stop the run, which is good. This is great. They're the third best at it in the league, which is really impressive. But they cannot get any pressure on the quarterback. And if you're going to play a team like the Packers in the playoffs, which is very probable, Aaron Rodgers is going to tear you apart. If he gets to be able to sit in that pocket and not have any pressure, it's going to be game over for you. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the Seahawks will do and what Josh Gordon brings to the team. I'll see y'all next week.